I went through a haunting since I was 4 years old.
Feels like it's left its mark on you, though. It feels like you carry a different energy.
It had a massive impact on my life. We both experienced haunting together. It was primarily Jeremy and I who experienced it.
When you said I lost half of me, he's like, he never lost me.
All of a sudden, again, I felt the feeling. And I saw me handing her $100.
Horizons of sea waiting for me, pushing past the field to explore and see. Oh, on cold tales hidden deep within. Let's break the chains. Let's find our destiny.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the new Era Paranormal Podcast with your host, Beatty Curry and Irene Achilles. Tonight's episode is a special pre-recorded installment, and we're excited to bring back a familiar face to the show. Our guest this week is John Griffin, one of the very first guests to ever join us on this podcast. Since that early appearance, John has continued to leave his mark on the paranormal field and its community. His recent work includes the premiere of a documentary series named Project Apparition Hall, which highlights his unique methods, investigations, and the challenges he's faced along the way. He's also returned to the Wildwood Sanitarium crew full-time and has been producing independent content, including his own show, the ParaClue Podcast. John, for those who may be discovering your work for the first time, could you give us a brief introduction to your background and how you became involved in the paranormal field?
No, sure. Basically, I went through a haunting since I was 4 years old, and basically at age 16 started my first paranormal team called the TPO Squad, and you could tell that I was definitely very amateur because I learned that you don't put "the" in the name, so it was called the Paranormal Officer Squad. So lesson learned. It evolved into Paranormal Security Department. And I was big into security, so hence the name. And then it evolved into UNI research, and it's basically once I started really doing statistics, everything that people love, numbers and stuff like that. It's absolutely exciting, right? Once I got involved with that and really started to identify trends and such, that's when we've evolved into what we're now known as UNI research, which I could say it's final evolution stage, similar to Pokemon where you got the 3 evolution stages. So I'm officially Charizard.
Well, it's pretty cool. So you said you started when you were 16. So you have you lived in a haunted location, or you experienced hauntings?
I lived in a haunted house. Yes. Well, I say since age 4. Technically, it was since pretty much I was born for the most part. But age 4 is my first actual conscious experience that I recall.
Okay. How many houses? Was it only one location, or has it been multiple locations you've experienced this?
Only that house, because we were there up until I was about 19, and then my family moved to Scotia. It was only it was under 10 minutes away. It was like night and day, and pretty much that old haunting was kind of left behind.
Okay, very interesting. It feels like it's left its mark on you, though. Like, not just in the fact that you do the paranormal teams and the paranormal investigation and research, but it feels like you carry not something from the house. You carry a different energy. Like it's like you have a sensitivity as a result.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, and to add to that, it had a massive impact on my life, especially with I had my younger brother Jeremy, and we both experienced haunting together. It was primarily Jeremy and I who experienced it. My parents didn't really experience much activity. My father at the time didn't believe in paranormal stuff. My mother, she believed in it. But she didn't really have any experiences. The haunting pretty much surrounded my brother and I.
Interesting.
And we both corroborated our experiences. So I went to private school. Was raised Christian, and I opened my mouth about it. Talked about what I was experiencing, because to me it was, I didn't understand what death was at the time. I was in nursery school when I first talked about it. And so when I had those experiences, to me, it was just like, well, this is interesting. I'm going to tell my friends about it.
Yeah.
And that started a huge domino effect from there. And ultimately, my brother became guilty by association by it. And it had a real negative impact on me that followed my brother Jeremy and I pretty much all the way through school. And we had people from our nursery school that ended up going to our elementary school. And once, somebody was like, oh, yeah, it's that freak. That's a freak John. Then the rumor started. So it was like you couldn't escape it. The only way I would be able to escape it is to go to another school. And my parents knew that for me, I would not do well with public school. And on top of that, I felt, even though I was getting bullied to death, I wanted to stay in the private school. I felt comfortable with the spiritual belief. And so I didn't want to, and that's another thing too, is I really couldn't stand change. So that played a huge, huge part. And the weirdest part is, as much as I couldn't stand change, I thought I was going to miss the house. And honestly, I missed it for a little bit. It was like, oh, this is the last time I'm ever going to be in it. We drove away, got to the new one. I was like, oh, okay, you know what? This isn't bad. And that was probably the first time I didn't care about the change.
Yeah. It's like you drove away from a chapter, and the weight was lifted almost, and you started a new chapter.
On the haunting aspect, definitely a new chapter. From a social standpoint, it still followed. But definitely it was good to not experience the specific activity that I went through.
So, JD, did you have something you wanted to ask? I'm sorry, did I interrupt?
No, I just put it out there. I did not realize that our StreamYard was behind with storage. And apparently, it's not going to be doing separate video files for us.
Okay.
I just found that out after I started the stream. So,
should we keep going, or are you still going to be able to get it recorded?
At this point, let's just keep going.
Okay. Nothing like technology today.
Been this weekend for us. So.
Yeah, it's not been the best weekend, and in general. Can I ask you? Are you into like the superheroes or anything like comics or things like that? I know this sounds crazy to ask this question, but in my notes, I drew the Fantastic Four symbol, and I'm not sure why. So, and I don't normally just draw while I'm, doing the podcast. I do it for my show, my other show, but not for the podcast. So when it came up, I'm like, I need to ask him this because this might have some significance. Maybe Spirit wants to ask you a question for the podcast.
So actually, I could throw a few things that might match with that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, side note, aside from the paranormal, the last movie I saw in theaters was the new Fantastic Four.
Oh,
So, I've always been known as I've been referred to like by professors, paranormal scientists. So, I kind of resonate with the science characters and such. Another one, I was never called like Mr. Fantastic or anything like that. I was actually called the Doctor Strange of the paranormal. So, and Doctor Strange, I do actually like Doctor Strange. So, now the other thing, the more personal side. So there's that stuff. My brother, his life numerology number was 4.
oh.
And anytime I'm looking for a sign, I look for typically 2 numbers. My numerology number and my brother's, which is 4. And if I see both of our numbers appear, then I'm like, okay, he's trying to tell me something right now. So yeah, when I see the C4, I was just like, oh, I didn't go with Fantastic Four. I was like, Jeremy.
Aw, that's awesome.
It's a cool
So
way
that
to do it, though.
He's here. He's here with you in the podcast. That's great. I love that.
Yeah, he's around a lot. He does. He's always been real helpful, and he was a good brother in life, but he's been helping out in the other side too.
That's awesome. Definitely. If that's validation enough, that's awesome.
Now I'll wait to see if other things might pop up or something like that. It's go.
Right.
Meanwhile, he's going, yeah, that's my numerology number, but John, it's also this.
I mean, Irene has picked up stuff through podcasts before, so
Yeah, it comes on every once in a while, especially with the DOS house. That comes up a lot. So, it might be like your association with Wildwood. Maybe it's heightened. But I do think you have, I know you have experiences that have created a sensitivity, but I do feel like you have a higher sensitivity. You have a higher intuitive side, and I think that's why it's coming through a lot stronger.
Yeah, no, I tend to not. I don't broadcast that very often. People know, but
Okay.
if the only way people find out is if I just randomly come out and say something, or when people do ask me, it's like, do you have abilities? And I don't know if I would define them as abilities, so to speak, for me. But I've had too many things that have happened and things that people have experienced from me. Messages and such that I've delivered, and the most recent one happened last November, where I didn't know what it was. Like I can't sit there and go, well, this is exactly what's going to happen. It was, I got a message, I acted upon it, and as a result, I ended up helping save somebody's father's life.
Oh wow!
And that was the biggest thing that has ever happened in paranormal, and it was a message that came from my brother. There was some information that came through, and I'm like okay, and I didn't know, like, he didn't say this is what was going to happen. Hey John, this is going to be a sequence of events. It was, John, it was do this.
Yeah.
Okay, I did it. I was like, okay, well, I think I know what this is for. I was way off. So basically, because it's a long story, so I just I'll like get to the, try to shorten it up. I was supposed to go meet. There was a paranormal event, and I was invited down to in West Virginia, by my friend Jacqueline. It's our first time. Yeah.
Jacqueline and I know each other very well.
Oh, that's right. Weren't you speaking for the silent?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So her father, I know, was not doing well. And so I know as soon as she was done with Shawnee's, she would need to immediately drive to her father's place because the father's wife apparently flew out of the country or something like that. So he'd be by himself. And so I'm like, okay, I've never been to West Virginia. It's not like I have a lot of money on me, so this is gonna, I have the money to give to her. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop at the ATM. I'm gonna take out some money for the event. And the kicker was, she was doing it for 2 days. And she was like, so pick which 2 days if you're coming to both, or which 2 days. And I said, I'll come to, you know what? I'll come to the second one. I'm not going to come to the first one. I'll go to the second one. So what ended up happening was there were supposed to be, I believe it was 12 other people coming. Because of, I think it was a hurricane or something like that, it affected them. And all of them, except for me, all of them canceled. So it was literally me just coming now.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, okay, hey, more quality time. Jacqueline and I, we were at an event in, I think it was October, for a live filming, and for another show, and we hit it off. And she was like, yeah, I do this event. You want to come down? I'm like, sure. So I go to the ATM, I take out the money for the event. And then before I walked away, all of a sudden, and I recognized the feeling. I've gotten really good at recognizing it. I had the goosebumps, hair stand up on end. And then I was like, okay, something's coming. And I saw myself taking out an additional $100. And I'm like, okay, so I need to take out an additional $100. Now, my thought was, I'm going to run into a credit card problem. I'm not going to they're going to shut my card off. They're going to think it's fraud. When I get gas down there, they're going to shut it down or something like that. So I'm thinking, protect myself. Got it. Okay, $100. That wasn't it. I drive down there. Everything's fine. The next morning, her car, we were all getting ready. I stayed with her. I felt odd because a lot of people, they just get up and leave. I stayed with her. And she was just like, her and her friend, other friend, John, another John, said, you don't have to stay. I don't know. I don't know if you feel like you have to stay, but you don't have to stay. And I was like, are you sure you want me to leave? I just feel bad. Like I'm leaving. And then it's just, you guys just here in the middle of nowhere. Like, no, you're fine. So I drove off. It's now noon, and I get a call only 5 minutes down the road asking if I could come back and jump her car. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's no problem. She was all apologetic, and I was just, it's no problem. I'm coming back. I'm on my way. I'm not too far. And I'm sitting there. I'm thinking, wow, thank goodness I didn't leave at 9 a.m. like I was supposed to. I would have been 3 hours away already. Wow. Not realizing how bad the situation actually was. When I got back there, we tried to jump the car. They tried to turn it on, and literally the dashboard lit up like a Christmas tree. Every light, it was basically saying the car is just done. It's failed. It's done. And so, of course, she's panicking. She needs to get to her father. And I'm just like, there was a garage place down the road. They said, oh, well, we'd be able to pick it up. I forgot what day it was, but it would have been 3 or 4 days later. They would have been able to tow it and fix it. So she would have been stuck there 3 or 4 days. Yeah.
And that's not the place you want to get stuck. It really is middle of nowhere. Not quite as much as the Fright Farm, but middle of nowhere, JD, at least you know.
Oh, it was, yeah. I drove her back, and I know at this point she's in tears. And I all of a sudden, again, I felt the feeling. And I saw me taking out the money and handing her $100. And I go, I literally go behind the car so she can't see me. I pull out my dowsing rods, and I'm just like, I don't know if I got the sign Jeremy was there, and I go, are you telling me that this is not my money? And they said, he indicated, yes, it's not your money. And I said, okay. Do I give her some or all of it? It swung to all of it. I go, okay, is she going to accept it though? She seems like she's got she's got that tough attitude. And they're like, no, she's not going to accept it. and then my final question was, does she need to accept it? And they said yes. And then I heard another spirit guide of mine say, trust the process. And that message wasn't for me. That message ended up being for her. So I ended up going to her. I called her to the side, and I had the money in hand, and I literally just walked up to her and handed it. And I said, I don't know why I'm being told this. I don't know how this is going to help. You need to take this. And she was like, no, I can't do this. And she started doing the pushback thing. And I said, I'm saying you have to. I'm being told you need to. That you just have to. And she said, no, I'm not. I can't do that. And I finally looked at her and I was like, trust the process. And she stopped and just stared at me, and she didn't even look down. She literally just took the money and put it in her pocketbook. Didn't even count it. And she just, she gave me a hug, and I said, I don't know what this is meant to do, but I hope whatever's supposed to happen, it's, it helps. Because to me, it's like, it's $100 and your dashboard's lighting up like a Christmas tree. I don't think $100 is going to fix that.
Yeah.
So I drove away, and I thanked God. I said, I given me the opportunity to help. I hope it does something. She was calling. Now, it turned out there was a tow truck strike going on with third parties. So she was calling these tow truck companies, or her I forgot what it was. The third party company that reaches out to the tow trucks, and they would say, oh yeah, we're coming. Well, that's what they were doing, is they were saying they were coming, but they're not coming.
Oh my gosh.
So after she was spending the entire day there, it's been almost 8 hours now, and she finally got a hold of a tow truck company, and they said, oh, we'll come, but, and that's when she found out about the strike thing and said, I will do it for you, but it has to be in cash. If you can't pay me in cash when I get there, we're not taking your vehicle. So she was like, oh yeah, fine. It's the best she could do right now. So so the tow truck company shows up and says, okay, like I said, it's in cash. And she was like, oh, I forgot to ask how much it was. And they said $100. And she was like, she thought for a second, she's like, I didn't even check what John gave me. She went in, pulled out the $100. And she was just completely shocked. Her car got taken in. It got fixed. I believe it was within the hour, and she was out on the road. When she got to her father's house, because it was later than expected, a few hours of getting there, her father was so bad they ended up having an ambulance transport him to the hospital. And the doctor came up to Jacqueline, and Jacqueline told me the doctor looked at her dead in the eyes and said, one more day, and he wouldn't have made it.
Oh, wow.
And so all these tow truck companies that refused to go, the fact that she wouldn't have had the $100 to get her car taken, the other garage that said it would be about 3 or 4 days, her father would have been gone. And I'm just like, I sit back and I think about, wow, if I had not trusted my intuition on this, if I had not trusted these messages, I think to myself, what would have been the result? And my thought would have been is that if I had chosen not to listen, I would have I would have been sending condolences. So that was it was frightening. It's frightening to think about. It was a great experience, but it was frightening to think about what the result could have been.
Yeah.
So that was a short version of that.
Well, like welcome to the life of a medium too, right? You always think, yes, like a lot of the time you do get it right, and you do know why you're doing something, but there's a large chunk where you're doing it, you say it, but you don't know for sure why it's coming through. So and you just have to trust the way it's coming through, and it's good you did that, just in general.
I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful that that it turned out, and her father. I mean, granted, I know her father's still sick, but he's alive.
He's alive.
So,
Yeah,
and that's what matters.
yeah. And a lot of people ignore those thoughts and those feelings, and yeah, it's great that you don't do that and you actually go with what your intuition's telling you. That's awesome, because like I can't imagine, especially like Shawnee too. Like that event was November, and near the end of November, it gets cold there. I don't know if it was an unusually warm time at that time. We didn't actually make that particular event, but the temperature drops there. Where in November you're like freezing unless it's an unseasonably warm day. It gets cold.
It was. I definitely know that. Like the last time, no, actually last November. So it was at the beginning of November. The funny part was it was election day, so that was interesting.
Did you predict the election results as well, John?
We actually asked questions to try to see if they could tell us, but yeah, yeah. I had my guess on the election. I was right. But yeah, we actually did ask the spirits there, and I don't remember if they actually gave an answer or not, because that was a question. We had the spirit box going and such. But yeah, so we spent half the night watching the election, and there were some points where we're like, we got to go talk to some spirits here, like. But it was actually an unusually warm night. It was cooler.
Oh, that's great.
But it wasn't as bad as she says it normally gets.
Yes, it gets very cold.
Yeah, we lucked out.
Yes.
I didn't even think about the fact that I picked two different, very spiritual, scientific people, Irene and John.
So like, I don't know if you know my background. We've only like met online, like through a Zoom or something briefly, but like my background, I worked as a scientist. I have a master's in molecular biology. So I worked for about 20 years, in labs. Yeah. So for a long time. So, being a medium and then having worked in a lab, like it took a long time for me to come to the point where I could, really say, okay, I'm actually getting something. And now I know I for sure have this ability, and now I'm going to use it. But I had it my whole life. But think about it. I grew up just like you. I grew up in a very Christian household, so I had a lot of that background, but I always had a strong bond with my faith. It was the institution that didn't accept, like what was going on. Right. Mm-hmm. And then the scientific background, and then also with like the medium background. So like all those things, it took a long time to sort it all out, but I have the analytical brain and the, we'll say creative brain, but the more spiritual or creative side.
Well, I find that as the years have gone by, and my brother was right about this, and maybe you're experiencing this as well, is that you end up having a merger of the two. Mm-hmm. Like you find a way that you bring that you understand that that there is a science to the spiritual side, like science is the explanation to how spiritual activity is possible, from the physics standpoint. So for me, it's merged, and it's starting to get to the point that it's not, it's more normal. And technically is normal. It's just, obviously, like everybody says, it's, right now it's paranormal because we don't understand it, but in actuality, it is normal. It's something that does happen. We just can't explain it yet. Mm-hmm. So in this case, as I've been doing this analytical stuff, and I'm just like, as I'm doing this, the paranormal is not really that magical anymore.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad thing either. It just it's actually kind of interesting how it all works.
It's really good to come into it from that that analytical or that realistic perspective where, you know, you really like you are looking for something and you don't have an expectation of that magical anymore, because now you're really trying to find something or to prove something wrong or prove something right. And I think you get more reliable, I think, results. But also I think when you come in that way and you have that seriousness, I feel like spirits respond to that because they say this person is sincere. They want to gather information. And like we've had EVP sessions or things like that where the introduction is, you know, we're looking to collect this information. I will be asking you multiple times to respond, you know, or just like any kind of session, flashlights, anything that we would use, right? Ember Pod session. We're looking for like multiple responses and repetitive responses just to make sure you're there. If you can do that. And like, sometimes we will get that response. And like, I feel like we get a response where maybe somewhere, maybe even if it's not the response we're looking for, we get more of a response approaching it that way than any other way, I think, at least in my opinion. Yeah.
I mean, well, for the once I've explained it more with the spirits, when they get a better understanding, like Wildwood, it took me some time with Wildwood Sanitarium for some of the spirits to get an idea of what we were trying to do. Because, and I get it, like if they're truly conscious beings, they're getting a million people coming through that are asking the same question. How did you die? What's your favorite color? And they're probably just like, okay, you want me to pound the ball? I mean, what do you want me to do? So when we've come in and I'm literally like, I've gotten to the point that I tried to get them involved since the spirits there were so amazing. What I ended up doing was asking them, you want to become involved with this, where I don't know if you have to research on your side. Like, I don't know. I told them, I don't know if you have to research. Like, do you understand what you need to do to interact with us? Like, I was trying to think of it from their end, and I was like, you know what? I think, what if I show you guys what we do? Like, okay, here's the evidence. Here's what we're declaring evidence, and we show it to you guys. Here's our numbers. And I actually brought projectors and the projector screen. I brought up numbers and I showed pictures and videos, and I was letting them get involved. And I would turn on the spirit box, asking them questions about it. Okay, you know, did you see what we saw on that? And you know, what do you get from these numbers? Like, is there a trend that you see? You know, and trying to really get them involved in the research. Because I figured if they can see what our results are, unless they already know, they might. If they can see what our results are, and they go, okay, so what we tried last time didn't work. They couldn't see us, so we got to try this time. Like, I don't know if they're doing that on their side. Maybe they are.
We don't know for sure, but why not try? That's the scientific approach, right? That's why not try and see what your response would be. And
it helps them to understand what you're looking for. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like coming into any other place with people that are alive and explaining to them your approach of what you're doing and how to respond. Yeah. You know, so why not bring it to the location that you're in? You know, that's, of course, it makes a lot of sense. A lot of people have been working with like other ways of like with the infrasound or ways of communication too. Mm-hmm. So like, how do we know that they're responding, but we just can't hear them? It's not our capacity to hear the sound of the wavelength that we're able to hear. So yeah, I don't know.
I've actually thrown that. There was a hypothesis we thrown out with that too.
Oh yeah.
Because
you tell.
I know there's the whole energy aspect that people keep on saying. Well, it's like, oh, you get the goosebump or the hair standing up and the goosebumps, and you're like, I was like, and then the explanation currently is, oh, well, you're sensing the energy of spirit. It's like, well, I did something. I've been trying to do some other research, and I realized because there was when we were doing the digital recorders were recording sound. I'm like, if spirits are below or at a certain frequency, or speaking at a certain frequency, do these frequencies cause specific symptoms?
Wavelength. Thank you. Go ahead. Sorry.
Symptoms with the body. And what I found is that just below the human hearing level, there were symptoms just before there where you felt like you would get the goosebumps and the hair standing up, and I'm like, the exact symptoms people describe when they feel the energy of a spirit in the room. So now I looked at it as, is it really the spirit that's just there in the room, or is it a spirit that's talking to you? Your ears and body is trying to register it, but it can't because it's in that frequency range that's just below, just before you can hear them. Yeah. So in actuality, it's not them there, it's them talking to you, and you're picking up that they're talking, you just can't hear them. So what we're trying to experiment with is trying to collect data that where people get those experiences, while at the same time, are we getting the EVPs to go along with it, and trying to corroborate, connect and see if that really is what it is. And I mean, it's difficult to measure, but we're trying.
Well, when you think of it, sound needs an object to vibrate through, right?
Yeah.
So, like, why couldn't it be one? It could be vibrating physically. We just don't know that it's causing that kind of response in our body at that level. Or we have our own auric field, which now they've accepted, scientifically as a biofield around us, or medically, I should say, as being our biofield. So what if they're causing that vibration through our biofield too, and it's causing that physical response in our body from the sound that's coming through? We, like, even though it's such a low level sound, we don't know for sure how it's moving through any kind of, through us physically. We have no idea.
What about the color sounds, the white noise, pink noise, all those different wavelengths and sounds?
JD brought up that, but you know what it made me think of? Like how when you hear a song that reaches you and you get a feeling from it.
Yeah.
Could that song somehow have a frequency that speaks to you in a sense that it connects with you spiritually in a certain way? Or how the sound, like I don't know how, when some people are affected by white noise. Some people, like, they can't focus through white noise. I can listen to white noise and I can focus, and I can connect in a clear way. Some people say it's too noisy, I can't focus.
Yeah.
So,
how music does have an emotion to it most of the time, though.
It does. It has
or
an
something
emotion.
to trigger emotion.
That's true. And is it the emotion that triggers the goosebumps, or is it two separate things? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
let's just ask all the random questions. John, answer them all for us. Let's see. What are your thoughts?
Well, scientists and hypothesis. That's what this show is about.
I mean, so a couple things that were like popped in. So the sound part. The reason we went with the sound wave part is when I was listening to EVPs that we had, specifically Class A's. The one thing I noticed, there was a characteristic I noticed, which was they had an echo to them. Okay. Some of them did, some of them didn't. And so when I looked,
how are you listening to them? Are you listening through the old style recorder, or are you listening through a digital recorder or something higher level?
I end up using both until digital. Well, because originally my first recorder was cassette.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm
aging myself a little bit.
Me too.
My first recorder was it was cassette. But then I do have digital. I listen to it in multiple different ways through through whether it be the recorder, through the speakers, through headset. I'll listen to it multiple different ways. But the other thing I started tracking was the environments themselves. So when I started hearing the echoes and such with the EVPs, it made me go to the environments and then start testing environments to see about acoustics. And so the hypothesis is that we're going to get more EVPs and EVPs with echo, and potentially more Class A, Class B EVPs in environments that have good acoustics. And we just did a general number on that. When we did the numbers on it, that's what happened. So what we ended up trying to do, and it didn't happen for every single one, but we noticed that primarily areas that had great acoustics, we noticed there was a spike in EVPs.
Well,
so
then you go deeper and you figure out what other things are affecting those EVPs, because even though it doesn't happen everywhere, there could be other environmental factors affecting you, keeping you from getting that same result. Sorry, go ahead. No. I mean, that's the other part too, is we were like, well, what about cluttered rooms? What if we went and uncluttered a room and cluttered another room that was known for its Class A's, and then we go and clutter this room and change the sound so that the sound can't bounce and all that. And does that change anything? We found that it did. We found that when we uncluttered a room and we opened it up and you could sound was able to travel better, it changed up the stats. So, we had that. Now the emotion part of it, another team member of us, her name was Tina, brought up about the whole feelings thing. And we were thinking about that because everything, pretty much operates on vibration in some capacity. You walk into a room, like you could get somebody that's angry. They walk into a room and everybody all of a sudden gets angry for no reason. How does that happen? And I thought about that from because spirits, obviously, they're not in physical form that we're truly aware of, unless they have some new physical version of themselves. But I've thought about, when it comes down, because a lot of this focuses on, it seems like, vibration and such, or frequency or what have you. Can they overpower? Why? I've always asked, why are spirits afraid of other spirits? I know I'm kind of going off on a little bit of a tangent here, but why are other spirits worried about other spirits unless a spirit can overpower another spirit? And what does that overpowering look like? Because, I mean, I can't picture a spirit walking up to a spirit and punching them in the face and going, wow, that, look at those muscles. Like, I haven't seen that yet. So no, I don't know. I can't picture it either.
And I haven't heard it. I have not heard a spirit punch a spirit yet. So
yeah,
that would be wild. And watch, now I'll get an EVP of, bam. I'll be like, oh, come on. But I've never heard, I've had spirits that were afraid of other spirits. And my thought is that you can have different frequencies. You could play frequencies that can cause people to hallucinate and do all these weird things to us. Well, if there's a spirit that vibrates at a specific frequency, like I'm thinking about it from like the room standpoint, a person walks in and they did nothing, but they changed the environment somehow. Yeah. Can a spirit walk in, or spirit essentially overpower another spirit simply because, like, let's say they're angry and their vibration is just crazy, and that frequency for some reason can overpower the other spirits? Can a spirit possess a spirit's consciousness? Can a spirit overpower them to the point where, they're just forced away? It's just, there's so many things that I'm thinking about how this works. But I'm not looking at it from a traditional standpoint. I'm not looking at it from a spirit goes to the gym and lifts weights. How their
strength presents itself in the spirit world. Yeah.
In a very different way.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, this is only a hypothesis, but
right.
I mean, you know, I'm hoping to stumble upon something that that kind of leads me in the direction. So far, where we have ideas, but we haven't seen anything concrete to bring us down that path.
I mean, I think that's a good theoretical approach based on just my experience from what I see. But, you know, we still don't know for sure everything on how that happens. Yeah.
So can you tell us about the Wildwood Sanitarium and the work that you started over there as of recently?
As what?
Said as of recently, because you've been working with them for quite a while.
Oh yeah. No, I've been coming there since 2018, and you know, you and I researched my team. We're sponsors for the Wildwood Sanitarium, and we're working on what's called the ParaClue project, and basically, we're doing these different. We're doing the vodcast. We're doing a ParaClue membership or ParaClue club and / VIP membership, and we're basically trying to create paranormal lab kits and a paranormal lab. You know, I won't go into too much detail, but basically, you know, just from experience of spending well over $50,000-$60,000 of my own funds to buy equipment, and that doesn't count traveling, that doesn't count purchasing the location or, you know, overnights and all that. You know, I'm thinking about this and I'm like, all these other paranormal you know, researchers who are trying to do all this great work are getting hit with the same problem. You know, where I go and I'm like, oh, I want to do this experiment, and I can't because I'm like, well, I can't afford it. I don't have the piece of equipment I need. So we're trying to build what we're calling as paranormal lab kits. And we're starting that off at Wildwood Sanitarium, where if people are part of the ParaClue club, they'll be able to, when they reserve at Wildwood, we'll have the kits available to them if they want to try different experiments with them, or just use the equipment that goes with it to try their own experiments. That way, you know, I know there's some people that they're just starting off and maybe they show up with a digital recorder and they're like, oh, that's all I have. Maybe they want to do more. It's going to grow. All I'll hint at right now is that we're creating a traveling paranormal lab. That's the long term. We got other locations we're talking to, but the other portion of this too is with these memberships. Aside from it helping with the vodcasts and creating these lab kits and the paranormal lab in general, we're helping with the restoration projects, restoring the history, and that way, so paranormal researchers can have the place to go. They have a really nice location to go. And Wildwood Sanitarium, they've come a long way. They fixed the first floor ceiling, the bathroom ceiling. They're working on the garage now. They want to be able to get a new roofing on the garage so that investigators can go in there and start investigating in there as well. Second floor, they just started work on the ceiling there. So they're working really hard on that place. And, you know, I'm 5 hours away from there, but I travel up there all the time, back and forth. I'm there constantly. The vodcast, we're trying to create a community. So even if people aren't a part of the ParaClue club, so to speak, we have people that call in. We want people to call in. We're doing some special guests here and there, having people come to do the investigation portion of it. The last 45 minutes of the vodcast is dedicated to the research and doing experiments. And we're actually going to have people come in and you know, do their specific work and demonstrate it. But it's kind of we start off with a topic. You know, we ask some questions, we discuss it a little bit. We also show a bunch of memes. We post a bunch of pictures. We have had people make memes out of us. So we display those. We have the people who can submit paranormal evidence. I know, JD, you submitted one. We showed that one from your documentary. You know, so we're showing other people stuff, talking about it, but then also having people call in as well, whether they want to give us a story, ask us questions, or they want to chime in on the topic. We understand that also it could be stressful. That's why we did it during the weekday. Not so much we know that people, they come home from work and they might be stressed and they're like, I'm going to be going to work the next day. Here, turn on a paranormal show. Come on, let's talk.
And it's fun and lighthearted. So,
oh yeah, no, and you've already seen, like, we laugh, we have a great time, we hear some really cool stories, we talk, and anybody can call in. Once we do the call in, anybody can call in. So, yeah, we're having a lot of fun with it.
That's awesome. I like opening it up.
We're going to be talking about alien invasions next. This alien ship that's showing up. I've been hearing about it so much, and I was like, oh, it's supposed to be happening within the week or so. You know what? That's our next episode. Are we getting invaded?
There's supposed to be a lot of activity here in the southern tier of New York.
How do you know you're not already invaded? We don't know.
I'm just gonna wait and during this podcast during this podcast right now, if I don't see a knock on the door and the men in black come and get you, I think we're good.
I'm gonna unzip. Surprise!
I'm actually one of those. Have you ever seen Knowing?
Oh yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's what I'm just picturing right now. I'm just gonna unzip and then here's the energy, and then the kids with the bunny rabbits, and it's just like, you know what? I want a bunny rabbit too.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I love it.
It's quite a description.
We started out with Pokemon, and we're ending with the bunny rabbits. Not quite ending, but we're near the end.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Did you get any more insight, Irene? I've seen you writing.
More insight to what he's doing.
Did you make an Avengers symbol yet?
No Avengers symbol. I do keep seeing. This might not be like one of your numbers, but I do keep seeing the number 5 while you're talking over and over again. And I don't know is there something. So I keep seeing this space that has it almost has like, it could either be like a kitchen or it could be like a garage workbench. Like, I can't quite tell because of the way the window is placed on here. So I don't know if you can you see that right here in the middle? Window, and then there's like it looks like there's a counter. But okay. I can't quite tell if it's like a workspace or something or other. This isn't my normal way of doing things, but there you go. So I don't know for me, when I look at it, it looks like it's something that you're kind of, I don't want to say building, but building on.
That might be
right?
accurate.
Yeah. So I don't know what you're building on, but whatever this space is, it's kind of like that's your workstation in a way, and then you're building onto it.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not building anything right now. Paranormal or the paranormal lab, it's that might be maybe what you're picking up on. The number 5, I'll be honest, I hate that number. I hate that number with a passion.
That's why you brought it through.
Well, so the numerology year that Jeremy died was 5.
Okay, that's why he brought it through.
Yeah. So he was born in the year of 10 and died in the year of 5. So I've always viewed 5 as being, I've lost half of me. So every time I see the number 5, I'm like, nope. Like it's always and on top of that, he also died on 7/7. So you put those numbers together, it comes out as 5. So it's every time I see the number 5 or anything pop up, I'm like, immediately my mind goes to something bad. But I've had to look up 5 before, and I know that 5 can mean challenge, but there's also good things to 5. My mind, it just automatically goes, oh, 5, Jeremy death, don't like it. But I keep on remembering that 5 means many other things. I just tend to not look at those other meanings. I just tend to default.
Well, he like the first thing that came into that knowing was that he never, when you said I lost half of me, he's like, he never lost me. That was the immediate response to your statement. I lost half of me. He says he never lost me. So he's showing you that he's here, and he brings up the difficult number. That's greater validation, I think, in terms of his presence here for you, but also to help you kind of see that, like, we just had this great podcast, and we had fun and a great time, and you had this great time. And he brings up this number 5 to bring up this validation for you. But I'm supposed to tell you, like, it's not the negative. Start looking at it as a positive. Spin it into a positive way now. He was present in your life. He encourages the spiritual side of yourself now. He's your support system. He's your guide. He's with you always. But he's with you in a more, I know it's not the same. It never is the same. I understand that, but he's with you and connected to you in a deeper way spiritually. He's ever present, and he's the one that guides you into helping you with these ideas, these thoughts. Your $100 thought, that was from him. So he can help you and guide you in a much greater way, and he's present with you and within you in a much greater way. So he wants you to look at it in a positive way. Okay, not in such a negative way. It's always, you're human. You're always going to have a little bit that's like, oh, it reminds me. But he wants you to move forward now. He wants you to embrace joy in this experience that we're having. We had a great time. He had a great time listening to you and your excitement about what you're working on. So, and he is excited for whatever you're building on. So, and quite honestly, to the left, I see something on a shelf, and it looks like a trophy. So I'm not sure if you won an award or something, and he's very proud of you, or that award is coming. But there's a trophy to the left of that image that seems like it's on a shelf beside all the work that you're doing. And so he's proud of you for that. So, however, if you've already gotten it, he's celebrating you, and there's more to come, or it's coming.
It sounds more future related stuff. Okay. I mean, I've gotten awards for my job, but not for paranormal related stuff yet.
Okay. Well, something's coming then. So here, let me just show it to you one more time so you can see it. So you're not just right there. See that on the shelf? It looks like a trophy sitting on a shelf.
Yeah.
Next to this. So yeah. Just hold on to that. He's supporting you and helping you, and he is proud of you in every way. It's success. For me, trophy is success.
Just out of curiosity, and maybe it's just the way it's appearing on the camera. The trophy part, I noticed it looks like the 2 stands. I see a circle at the top, but I noticed it looks like in your drawing you emphasize the circle and the right stand.
So which one's the right stand?
So there's the circle.
Right there?
Yeah, you have the circle there. I noticed that's very emphasized. And then going from the circle down.
Right here?
No, coming directly from the circle.
Oh. I'm not sure
when you're at the circle, at where the trophy is. So that part right there. And then on the right side of that right side of that circle, literally coming from that circle going down, not that one, to the left. Yeah, that one. That one.
This one?
Yeah, that leads right up to the circle. I noticed that's more pronounced, like you scribbled more on that as opposed to the left. And I'm curious as to if you had some meaning to that.
Usually when I write something in stronger, bolder, it has me underline, it means significance. Point it out. Make sure they see it. Make sure they know it's important, that it's something big. For this instance, I'm not sure. It could be that, but I only see it as like the success or the statue. If it means something to you, whenever somebody reads like or sees something in an image, remember, this is for you.
Yeah.
Right? So you're going to see what you're supposed to see and what your message is. So I'm not against I'm not against having the sitter actually see in the image what they actually see. So do you see something that means something to you in that?
So the only reason I brought that one up is because if you just do the circle and then the part you emphasized, it comes out to a 9.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and 9 is my numerology number.
Came through.
So let me just take that another step further. 9 is your numerology number. That means this is your success, and he's a part of it. He's with you. So he's definitely emphasizing that's your success while giving you validation with the number 9. Because what I'm seeing and then what you're seeing, that's your validation and what he's trying to tell you. That's
well,
cool.
And it's interesting because you started off the episode with the Fantastic Four, and then I saw a drawing that looks like a trophy that has a 9.
Oh gosh.
And like I said, I told you and I didn't tell you. I literally did not tell you what my number was. I did that.
No, you didn't.
I literally said, "Oh, usually 4 and my number pop up."
That's awesome. So here's the thing too. I love when the automatic drawing, like the sketching comes through, you know, I'll write and draw, but I'll call it sketching. But that when that comes through, it for me, that's not me saying anything. I think that I truly believe like there's like this, like a partial trance state that I go in where like this part of my body pulls in that clear cognizance, like in that partial trance and just goes and I get out of my own way when this does what it does. Right. And so when that happens, I know that had nothing, all my writing has nothing to do with me. All of this is nothing because I have no idea what's going to come down on the paper until it comes down on the paper.
Yeah.
But when that happens and you see it and I don't see it, and like for me, like that's the greatest validation because they sent the message like I know it was through me, but directly to you. I think that's just awesome that you see it in there. I think that's beautiful.
Well, and you have and I did notice that when you go into, when I've seen you start doing writing or something like that, your facial expression completely changes. You'll go from a smile or like really, I can't, no, because I can't say focus because that's what the look looks like is it's like you could be smiling and then all of a sudden it's just like, and so
Yeah.
like it's like almost like a trance, like you go and just hyper focus. I don't know if anybody's seen that or if you've seen that yourself, but I've noticed that every time you were starting to write or do something, that's when I noticed like you went into like a very specific like facial appearance, I guess.
Yeah, I'm told my face does change at times. Not like sometimes it's fine, and then other people times they see it depending on what I'm doing. And I'm told my eyes do certain things too when I'm doing a reading. So yeah.
When you're doing a walkthrough, there's a lot of different changes that happen.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's hard to like being that scientific side. Like I still have moments where it's hard for my brain to fathom that these changes are occurring while they're like, I don't know that they're happening. And I think I'm normal and everybody else is kind of seeing, even though I know I'm not normal, I think I look normal, you know, right? In so many ways, I'm not normal, but you know,
it's a trend.
Yeah.
Paranormal.
Oh,
that was fun. Well, I'm glad I could bring through that message for you, and thank you, for trusting me, and thank you to your brother for allowing me to do that. It's not me, it's them, right? So, and it's, big guy, but like, it's all, I'm glad I can bring that through for you. And like, I don't normally just freely do that, so I hope that was okay with you, and you're happy with it.
I appreciate it. No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. JD, are you okay with that?
Yeah, it's been a good show.
It was fun, and I do think you should also fine tune also not just spirits interacting with each other, but how the residual haunt exists. I know energy stays in places, but how does it stay there? So like how they interact with each other at this vibration, but what vibration keeps them in a residual haunt? Like that's just for me and very interesting, because I could walk into a place and I see the whole scene happening. And it's not just me seeing the past, because that can happen too, but it's existing in the reality that we're in as I'm walking through the space. It's crazy.
That's interesting, because just saying that's an interesting way of asking that of how does it stay, like not because normally it's the why does this happen, how does it do it?
How does it
you got to get the physics.
It's like for me it's a huge how, like how is this even happening? How is this energy repeating itself? And I know we have some physics explanation behind it, but like there's a how does somebody see a woman walking down the stairs over and over again, or at the exact same time every night, or like how does that energy exist in that moment? It's just like, for me, I know it's an imprint, I understand all of that, but how is it imprinting? How does it how do we say,
stone tape theory?
Yeah, like the stone tape theory, exactly. But how?
But it's beyond that at this point.
Yeah, like how does it even happen?
Yeah,
like we know why it happens through grief, through strong traumatic situations can happen, or even just an energy over and over in a space. But what makes it stay? Like I've always it's always just stuck in my brain. Why, when I walk through a space, is it not me looking at the past only? Why can I walk through the exact situation happening while I'm walking through the space at the same time? Like it just, for me, like I don't know, because we know that when they're intelligent spirits and they're interacting, we have that interaction, right? And we want to see how that's happening, right? Can one overpower the other? But in that residual experience, that's like, for me, like I just want to see, I want to know, is it like a video playing over and over? And I know that when we talk about the other theory, yes, right, but is that what's really happening? Or is it I don't know, is it actually, do the spirits somehow come back? Like, especially the one where there's like a 9 o'clock, same one, cycles at 9 p.m. every night. Does that spirit, or a part of that spirit, or a fragment of that spirit soul still working through whatever happened in that moment? And does that spirit come back in that moment and experience a residual haunt? Like there's just so much of, like, there's so many pieces to it that, like, I want to go deeper into, or you can go deeper into. Like, I just throw it out there. Anyway. Sorry, I went off on my tangent.
There are locations that end up having their own aura, like the Cleveland Opera House that we went to, any jail, any asylum. They have these permanent auras of their own.
Yeah. Is it because the energy of the location itself holds that energy, and then like I just
releases them as images.
Yeah.
Well, and that's been a hard part for me, because I know one of the explanations, and this is just, again, this is my OCD and analytical mind jumping into this. I know there's the explanation of, well, a person has walked through, or like, let's say they walk through the location, like the same location. No, they constantly walk down that staircase at 9 o'clock every night. And it's like,
yeah.
I there was a team that we were discussing that, and I said, I have to challenge that logic. I said it wasn't their logic. It was just like, this is the explanation. I said, well, scientifically, it still doesn't make sense, because here's the thing. You're saying that it's because this person went through 9 o'clock every night religiously down the staircase. But here's the thing: did that person have the exact same hairstyle every time? Did they use the left foot every single time to hit that step? Was it at the exact second every time? Were they wearing the same exact clothing at 9 o'clock every single time? So literally, if you wanted it hypothetically to be the same every single time, that person would be 9 o'clock on the dot, like 9 o'clock, not 9:01, 9 o'clock, 0 seconds. Their left foot with the exact same white gown and the exact same hair, and all the hair has to be in the exact spot. Left foot hits that staircase at the exact same time every single night. That would be believable. But there is no perfect scenario where that's happening. So that's where, when I look at that theory behind it, I go, that's unreasonable. Does that eliminate residual hauntings? No, it doesn't. No. But for that case, it is such a flawed explanation that I just that's my argument to it. And I trust me, I would love it as from a scientific standpoint. I want people to refute it. Give me a reasonable explanation that trounces what I just said. Yeah. And that helps, because that's the only way, is like if we start asking questions, if people start, like, that's why I'm not one to say, well, what you're saying is absolute BS. Like, I didn't like when the team was bringing that up, and I've had multiple teams bring it up. I'm not one who says that. I like to
prove that wrong either, at least at the moment. So
no, I like to pose questions.
Right.
And it's not me, and some people may take offense to it, but it's I'm not trying to dismiss. I'm trying to ask. That's what a researcher does. We ask questions, and then if you have, here's the thing: you don't have to have an answer. You don't have to. Right. That's the whole point of research. Is like, wow, you know what? I didn't think about that. You know what? We have to answer that question now. And if somebody has the answer, or maybe that goes, I have an idea to try to test this. Now they go out and do it.
Right.
That's typically why I'll ask questions. It's not sitting there to try to dismiss what somebody is saying. It's, let's think about this, because if right now I can't figure this out, maybe you already have, maybe you've done some experiments, or maybe you know of an experiment to do it. Here's where the flaws are right now. Let's plug those holes in. Yeah. And if you can't plug the holes in, I go with what Judge Judy says. If it doesn't make sense, it isn't true. So, but I like, it goes back to what you said about saying, instead of why, it was how. How does the energy stay there?
Yeah.
And then, that's going to make my mind like.
Well, there's also the thought too, like, we've always looked at residual hauntings as being a moment in time that's being repeated. Mm-hmm. What if there are some residual hauntings where when we walk into a space, we walk into the spirit's mind, and we see that moment that meant something significant to that spirit playing over and over.
So
from a different perspective, not from the actual spirit walking down the stairs, but the spirit looking at the person walking down the stairs.
That reminds me something that my brother tested before he took his own life. He was doing a thing called pseudo consciousness, in other words, cloud consciousness, where essentially within a consciousness area. So, and one of the tests we were trying to do with that is try to see if we could communicate with the consciousness of a specific spirit in more places than one at the same time. So we did a blind experiment at Wilson Castle where we were trying to communicate with one of the main spirits there, and we were on 3 separate floors. We didn't know what the answers would be. We all had dowsing rods. We all had digital recorders. Jeremy had a walkie-talkie, and he asked the questions over all the mics at the same time. We just recorded what the answers were on video, And then we went back afterwards. We had no clue. We didn't tell each other what the answers were or if we got an answer. We went back to the videos afterwards and compared all of them at the same time to see if and again, even then, it doesn't, even if we were to get 3 answers, like let's say the dowsing rod crosses in all 3 floors, that doesn't mean that, like, let's say if it was Wildwood Sanitarium and we're trying to get Dr. Henderson, it doesn't mean it's Dr. Henderson on all 3 floors. We would still have to see or hear Dr. Henderson on all 3 floors for that to confirm it. So it could just be another spirit that goes, we're going to screw around with them. Hey, guess what? I'm Mr. Wilson. Oh, I'll be Mr. Wilson too. So that's where it's a really awesome experiment, and we got some really interesting results, but it still doesn't, that was a very baseline start to it. Unfortunately, we didn't get to go further with it. I'm working on other variations of it, so I'm still continuing it regardless. I'm still continuing it. I think it's a great idea that Jeremy has. But yeah, that's interesting that you brought up, because as soon as you said the whole walking into the consciousness, I was like, cloud consciousness. Like,
that's awesome.
we're heading into the thing that Jeremy was trying to test. So
he's here. I wanted to ask you one more thing before we go. Are you going to head to Lake Shawnee, this upcoming event that's going to be in after Thanksgiving? Will you be joining us or no?
Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it budget-wise. I did have people that were going to ask me; they wanted me to come down to Wildwood.
Oh, nice.
And I feel like there's a reason. There's a reason for it too. But part of the reason is because 11/28 is actually my brother's birthday. So, yeah, it was like when I saw the date, I was like, typically I have a not a ritual, but August 4th is my birthday. November 28th is my brother's, and I have that's what it is, tradition. Where I would at the end of our birthday, after we have had our cake and the dinner, open gifts, whoever's birthday it was, Jeremy and I would always go down to his room. We would be drinking Mountain Dew together while showing each other stupid trailers, playing some video games together. It was fun. So since we don't have that anymore, twice a year I bring a Mountain Dew or buy a Mountain Dew, his favorite one, Baja Blast. I go to his grave and I sit next to his grave on my birthday and on his birthday, and I basically just do a toast with him. So it's this time around I might not be, because I might be at Wildwood, which is still his favorite place. But either way, even if it's not that day, I'll be down at his grave either the day before or the day after, if not on there.
That's awesome. I know why he came to me to deliver the message, because I also love Mountain Dew.
Baja Blast?
Not Baja Blast, though, no. I've actually never tried it. So...
He doesn't like you anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
And we're all August birthdays.
Oh, yeah. Our birthdays are very close. We're only 4 days apart.
Wait, are we all Leos?
Yeah, no, wait. You're not, yeah.
On the end of the month.
Oh, well, and my grandmother is August 2nd. I'm August 4th. My mother is August 13th. My uncle is, I think, August 19th.
That's a lot in one family.
Yeah.
My father's the one he's in September. My brother's in November. So, I mean, we were the oddballs. Well, they're the oddballs out, I guess. But yeah.
Well, John, it's been great talking to you. I had fun. I don't know about JD, but I had fun.
It was fun. Thanks for joining us again, John.
Thank you for having me again. I really had a good time talking with you guys.
You too.
I look forward to catching up with you at some point. Wildwood. Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Horizons unseen, waiting for me, pushing past the field to explore and see. Oh, I'm cold-tailed, hidden deep within. Let's break the chains that's fine.